essential to keep you living vital.
douglAR Politics, I hope you're ready. We're here, we're starting. The countdown is on.
Politics, yo. douglAR Politics. Listen, douglAR Politics, yeah. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics, yeah. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics, yo. douglAR Politics.
Good evening and welcome to douglAR Politics. Action-packed tonight, and all of you should be getting ready, get in your cars, fill up your cars, don't drive down alone. Tomorrow the United National Congress is in Couva. Reach down there early, 12, 1 o'clock, register until 2:30, 3 o'clock on the dot. The program starts, and Kamala Prasad Visesa, the leader of the UNC, will make her speech at 4:30 p.m. Good evening. You know, I kept a little article for you all because we in January, Christmas just passed. We just had the spirit of baby Jesus around. Christmas is a time for sharing, loving, caring in Trinidad and Tobago. We in January, Carnival, the mother of all carnival, soca music, niceness, friendliness, lime, vibes. But just a few hours ago, murders number 52, 53, and 54, and January not even done yet. But when we look, I kept an article for you all, because a very important human being, look at it there, and you all follow that, and don't play games with the mass media, and who try to, imagine the media so love PNM, they try to stifle something as critical as a murder human beings, citizens laying dead all over this country, blood flowing anywhere you go. But I kept this article for you all. It was printed in the Sunday Guardian, December 11. A national hero. He ain't get no award and thing yet, but you know, in Trinidad and Tobago, unless it's a PNM, you don't get an award and thing. Coach Nevik Dinoon, y'all who play football will know that. A former national player, national coach who works in Mova, Lavanti area. They did an in-depth interview with him talking about the crime situation, the lack of opportunities and so on. And listen to what Coach Nevik Dinoon had to say. He said, football and community life in Mova are not what they used to be. Residents claim that more youths are succumbing to poverty and gang life. And as a result, they're not reaching their full football and academic potential. We need economic support, said Nevik Dinoon. We need economic support. We need corporate people to come in. For example, things like equipment. A parent has 3 children and can't afford $300 for a pair of boots. The pathway to the pavilion was drenched in water and moss, creating a slippery surface, while stray dogs and goat feces populated the stands. The ground's lights do not work, limiting training by Mova Elements and Malik secondary football teams to daylight only. We are stigmatized, marginalized, so the education standard has fallen badly. And that is one of my greatest concerns right now. Education, simple things like timetables, literacy, and numeracy skills have fallen back. This is the worst I've ever seen since I've been in the community. And he in the community 60 years. But you don't understand, this is PNM stronghold. Mova, Lavanti, Fitzgerald Talbot Hines, Minister of National Security, Mama guide people and say, vote for me while I go and live in a palace in Maraval that I can't account for. But what he said there, literacy, numeracy, opportunities, buy boots, helping, it sounds familiar. There was something called live sport that the PNM demonized because it come from an Indian government, but it helping over 5,000 young African people multiplied by 4 or 5 with a family putting food on the table, giving opportunities, getting and financing literacy and numeracy skills. And remember, they had a contract dispute. And then the PNM say corruption, live sport. Do you know during live sport for the 2 years, 2012 and 2013, the murder rate was 400 and 375? But the PNM say live sport, murder. Because poor people is not to get food, there's not to get boots, there's not to get opportunity, there's not to get transport, they're not to get training, they're not to get education, they're not to get literacy and numeracy according to the PNM. But right now, you're hearing Nevik Dinoon. He ain't no politician. He's a man who has take money from your own pocket to help youths. And this is him talking in the stronghold of the PNM. While the PNM has spent $405 billion and counting. People who vote for them, who love them, who say great is the PNM. This is the separation. This is the truth. This is not a UNC talking, because all they always say, when Anil talk, when UNC talk, it's just opposition. No matter how much facts we bring. Well, listen to this. It was shortly after midday, that particular day in late November. Yet it was relatively easy to speak with young men near the Never Dirty Pavilion and Multipurpose Court. First, I spoke with 2 boys who played with MOVA elements, one 16 years old and the other 15. I asked them why they were not in school. Now, if you all recall, the concept of live sport came into my head in 2007 when I was just on the radio with Sprang Along. I was supporting the Congress of the People, and Sharon Gopal McNichols was going up in Port of Spain South, and I walked in the back of C-Lots 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock a.m. on a Tuesday, and I saw some youth men, 4 of them playing on the little basketball court. And it basically skill and thing, and I sit down, take a rest and watching them. And one of the youth men, about 8 years old, came up and said, "Sir, can I speak to you?" I said, "Of course. What's happening? Good morning, my brother." He said, "Sir, what's somebody like you doing in C-Lots?" I said, "But what are you talking about? All of we in the same place, Trinbagonia, and giving talk." But then I realized that this 8-year-old boy had a concept that somehow he was different. Somehow he didn't belong. And that's where the concept of live sport came from. So you could talk live sport and talk lies and this and corruption and thief and all kind of nonsense. Fire burn all you. But live sport was opportunity for those 2,378 young black fellas who on the block gunning and fighting and killing and crime all around. And during that period, the murder rate was 373 and 400. All your PNM but live sport murder rate, look, live sport done since 2014, 2022, 614 murders, 2023, look like all you're trying to break that record already, PNM, because you have no concept, no idea, no opportunity. You have people hungry, you eating all the food on the top of the recusals, and then telling people vote because you look black. What looking black have to do with putting policy in place? They continued. "I got in a fight, so I'm not in school right now," said the young boy. "Since the age of 7 or 8, both have played football with Coach Dinoon. They dream of making it far in football, but it was clear that they lacked confidence in realizing their dream." Live sport again, when you call out the opportunities that were there, the people who were there to show the pathways to success. National footballers, national captains, Reynold Carrington come down the line, Angus Eve, cricket captains, cricket heroes, netball, basketball, national athletes who had given their life to the sport. They were all there, about 60, 70 names. I read it out for all you. All you like to demonize a program, but what the PNM has done, give a jersey, do what? Nothing. And we reached 54 murders, and January not even done yet. "We try all how to bring back football in the community," said Dinoon, "to make community lively again, for the children to come out to play ball, to have fun, not bicker amongst each other," Joseph said. And remember, breaking down the barriers, breaking down the borderlines, hoop of life, live sport, these things that the UNC were bringing in to stop the ridiculous gang warfare for little territory and youth men losing their lives over total nonsense. Potential footballers, potential politicians, potential brilliant artists, musicians dying and bleeding for no reason. And PNM come to say, great is the PNM. Look, Fitzgerald sleep sleepy, narcolepsy, dunsy, dotish, pomsite, rasta, Heinz. Take that. And look where we reach already. It continued, Coach Dinoon. Nobody knows the stories of some of the children and few seem to care. I approached the pavilion. I observed Coach Dinoon. This is the person who wrote the article. I observed Coach Dinoon speaking with two 14-year-old players. They had no football boots. So the coach had to make the tough decision of deciding who would get the last remaining pair of boots that he had. No boots for the children. But when Anil was the Minister of Sport under Kamla, there's a vote, the money, called the NPI vote. Previously under Roger Boynes and Gary Hunt and the PNM, that vote was full at $10 million. And both of them did not even use all the money. They used to send back to the consolidated fund $5 million. While I was there, I got the cabinet to increase that vote to $140 million. And every community across the board, no matter where you come from, community groups, elements, football teams, RSSR, or from here, from Labre, wherever, across Matlot, whoever writing, you get a little assistance, equipment, boots, a little family day, fun day, medals, trophies, across the board. Sit down there every morning, 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. and go through 40 requests. And write, permanent secretary recommended. Marlene McDonald asked me in the parliament a question. Who and which groups have received funding from the Ministry of Sport and the sport company? Well, boy, asked Wade Markey was the speaker. Question time in the parliament, go back and check the record, don't take my word for it. Question time at that time was approximately 45 minutes. 45 minutes for questions that are done. I stand up to answer Marlene McDonald, the member for Port of Spain South, her question. Now she expected to hear Kuva, Barakpo, Naparima, Chaguanas, things like that. She expected to hear only groups from them areas. When I sat to read out group from down in Chagaramas, Hague Street, Scorpion, Bagatelle, Indigo Martin, down up in throughout Maraval, coming down the road into Port of Spain, Lavanti, Basildon Street, going up into Never Dirty, come across into Maloney, up into Matlat with Toko Sangri, across the whole board. Marlene McDonald jump up 20 minutes into my answer and telling the speaker, Wade Mark, that is enough, we go take the rest in writing. The speaker looked at me and said, no, Mr. Speaker. The PNM member for Port of Spain South asked a question. My people and my team have done the research and I'm going to give the question the respect it deserves. I'm going to answer it in full. Mr. Speaker said, go ahead. 45 minutes then continued and I only was 2/3 through the list of human beings, little children, groups, community groups throughout Trinidad and Tobago who got assistance with the taxpayers' funds to help them like this, to get boots for their children, to get corn, to get opportunities to ensure that coaches could do their job, to provide children who have talent with the opportunity so to do. And you all want to say the UNC and the PNM is the same? The UNC and the PNM is the same? Or you just look at it for a second. Just take a look and tell me that's the same. Really? Leave it there. And then here, Coach Dinoon, this is not a politician. This is a man who take his last money, go hungry for his children, his students, his athletes to get a little something. Imagine the man had to decide, with the one pair of boots he have, which one of the two footballers could use it today and the next one use it the next day. Right? You all think politics is a game. Politics is not no game about what I could get and who want to work and who want to be MP and who was not chosen to be a senator. That's what you all think politics are about? One was full of black beans while the other had white rice. He is talking about to the front row of the seats next to the remaining training equipment. There were two big crocus bags. There's the reporter watching what Coach Dinoon does do for his boys, his children in Mova Lavanti. One was full of black beans while the other had white rice. Before every training session, Dinoon pours some of each into the little bags and gives players to carry home. But when I listening to Faris Al-Rawi, the man who swear to be the AG, and then sell 3 Porsche, 1 year get money for, the next one that he get money for, and sell 2 Porsche in the same year, but one had a check and the next one had a check, and then he sit down in the cabinet and get 23 million by 246 million plus 38 million for renting out his own building. Faris Al-Rawi, when I was the Minister of Sport, look at me. Sorry, that again emotional then. Look at me in the parliament when they were condemning live sport, and Faris go on the Hansard and check it, said $75 for breakfast and lunch. School feeding, they do it for $9. I said, excuse me? School feeding, they do breakfast and lunch for $9. But live sport is corruption. Because Anil and Kamla, the UNC, giving big, strong, strapping black youth men between the ages of 15 and 30 years old $75 for breakfast and lunch with water and juice, delivery and security, because you're going up in some of the hottest areas in Trinidad and Tobago. Faris Al-Rawi tell me the UNC thief because $75 is too much for breakfast and lunch for black children. I watch him and say, your nastiness. When you go Trotters to Lime, your appetizer is $90, you disgusting human being. And all you say, great is the PNM. And now you see nothing for black people, nothing for poor people. All you want to condemn live sport, go ahead. Go ahead, don't study it. Don't study what is there. What was that? What were the resources being put forward to the children? Don't study that. They may supposed to get $1,500 to stop them from wanting or needing the teeth. They may supposed to get national heroes to take care of them. They may supposed to get literacy and numeracy and food. And they may supposed to get groups and business and get little contractors, form rental companies. No! That's not for poor black people. So all your PNM say, you know what money is for this thing here, to talk about manicure and pedicure and look different. Each year she look different. And to give you poetry during Christmas to tell you about don't envy her. So nobody knows the stories of some of the children at the club, and few seem to care, Dinoon laments. Out of the group of around 15 players training that day, at least 6 did not have football boots. Their parents cannot afford to buy them a pair. This is in the heart of PNM. This is PNM votes, 10,000 votes. Even if you put Fitzgerald, Talbot, Pomsite, narcolepsy, disgusting Hines, they just vote because they've been told that it's a black party and black man and frayed Indian. And this is where we're talking about. In the heart of the PNM, a coach had to decide which child get boots, which child get a scoop of rice and black beans to take home for their family. There's not no UNC saying it, There's a man in the trenches working to serve children. Continues. One of the group of around 15 players training that day, at least 6 did not have football boots. Their parents cannot afford to buy them a pair. One of the club's most promising players, age 12, is still a couple years away from writing secondary school SEA. The child is 12 and still a couple years away from writing SEA, which means he's going to write it at 14. At 15, I take O-levels and had 7 1s, 2 A's and a B. At 15. This is what is Trinidad and Tobago. And you're calling about great as the PNM because there are 500 recusals and Stuart Young brother get $5 billion in work and Al-Rawi get rental and Faris and the Attorney General giving out briefs across the board. That's governance. Spell catch, Dinoon said to Michael. Can't remember, coach, Michael responded. Spell catch, the coach said to the other player. Can't remember, the other youngster said. That's my challenge right now and no one seems to care. If it wasn't for football, these fellas would be walking the streets up and down. When you hear about $34 million for nothing and all this nonsense, you have public servants and board and people hired to do their job. They were in a contractual dispute about delivery of service. That's all it was. And they told you that was corruption, shut down the program, corruption, thief. Nonsense. And now we are reaping the whirlwind The chickens have come home to roost from the PNM's ineptitude, and we reached 54 murders already, 614 murders last year. 2018, when Stuart Smallpin Young was the Minister of National Security, 539 murders. Them have the gold and silver and bronze now. Martin Joseph, he get a ease up from 2008. He get put back into silver. Them had the up to 4th place, 5th place, and 6th place. And PNM don't tell you nothing. They say, nah, great is the PNM. Give them Givenchy bag. Guayco Primary scores a hat trick in Pan. Well done to the children, the teachers, the family. That's what it's about. But then we see Naparima combine. Y'all like to talk race talk. NPNM, everything is who banana, Calcutta ship, who black or who blank and so on. But Pan, all you cut Pan. Kamla the Indian, Tim Gopi Singh the Indian, since all they like race. All of we is one race. All of we is Trinidad and Tobago. But PNM like to talk race. But Kamla and Tim Gopi Singh had Pan in schools up at the highest level, pumping millions of dollars to make sure all the government schools had Pan going because of the intelligence, the brilliance, the ability to concentrate, the mind, the music creates opportunities for the mind to be expanded into brilliance. All the best academics play some sort of instrument. That's UNC. PNM coming Rowley and then coming. Those are wasting money. We need recusals. Forget that. Forget fuel subsidy. Forget opportunity. Forget poor people. We need pie here. We hungry. Put all the food here so we can recuse ourselves and eat all the food. And now look. All you want to talk race. Gatsby Dolly, I didn't hear you. Big up this. Look who win the Pan. What? Naps combine. All they like race. I said I Indian. Take the Pan. The Pan that born in Lavanti Spree Simon with the hammer. Because the Pan had no race. Music have no race. Trinidad and Tobago have no race. What it have is a sensible government in Kamla Prasad Visesa, Tim Gopi Singh, Fazal Karim, who pump money into education and culture, sport. Kamla Prasad Visesa said we must take the Selvin Ryan report and fight crime from all 33 ministries. And that was the fight that was going on. Rowley come in and cut everything. And now we're reaping the whirlwind. And you all want to talk race. And now all of a sudden Rowley's newspaper, The Guardian, says, page 12, opinion, Tuesday, 24th January. Youth Pan players need support. Really? The school administration naturally celebrated and so on, but I'm taking too long on this. Indeed, it is behind the scenes support for these activities which makes the difference each year. Since the Ministry of Education's Pan in Schools program has been allowed to fall into abeyance over the last couple of years. 1 year dishonest is the last 7 years. 2, why don't you say fall into abeyance? No, it's not a priority of the PNM government and the PNM Ministry of Education. Whether it was Anthony Garcia and Lovell who say UNC win election in Guyana, Francis, who built a stage in the sea for people to drink rum, get electrocuted, and get drowned in big wave. Them all Gatsby Dolly, the new deputy essential in the PNM, that Pan was not important to them. Therefore, they cut funding, chose to starve the Pan in schools program. Why don't you write the truth, Guardian? Kamla Prasad Visesa and Tim Gopi Singh saw it as critical. Increase funding, increase the number of schools that took part. All of a sudden you wake up and say, oh, it just fell into abeyance. No, the PNM kill out Pan in schools. And now we're seeing Soca Monarch dead because of the PNM. Soca Monarch and TT Pro League, Super League. These are certain investments that go beyond money, that go beyond profit. International Soca Monarch is about Trinidad and Tobago. It's about our culture. It's about tourism. It's about a product created here that could get worldwide and could bring money and revenue in different areas, different revenue streams for Trinidad and Tobago. And because of that, Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the UNC continued the funding. Patrick Manning saw it as important and was funding International Soca Monarch to millions of dollars, 10 to 12 million. Kamla Prasad Bisesa took it up from 12 to 15 million during her tenure as Prime Minister, the Indian Prime Minister. She didn't take Chutney Soca Monarch and boost it up above International Soca Monarch. She dealt with both. And the International Soca Monarch, which was bigger and more valuable to Trinidad and Tobago, got the support, financial support of the government to the tune of 15 million. In 2011, over 52,000 people was in the Hazy Crawford Stadium for that International Soca Monarch. It was beamed over the globe. Over 150 million people saw it and saw Trinidad and Tobago at its best. Now and since then, the PNM has cut funding and has left Soca Monarch on its own, and it's been dying for the last 6 years. Then COVID come and kill out. Now it's dead because the PNM say they're not giving 10 million to Soca Monarch. So the PNM don't believe that soca, that opportunities for young artists, opportunities for them same youth men who killing each other, who are talented, whose talent has not been identified, because PNM don't care. Them don't care about talent. Them want bursary. Them don't care about achievement. Them don't care about, you could move up into the Senate if you're a complete dunce. Or if you lick 2 K-packs going there, that's PNM. So they now kill Soca Monarch. But the rest of the world, Archie, celebrating music, musicians, and brilliance. We have this type of brilliance all over Trinidad and Tobago, you know. But because of the PNM ineptitude, them getting killed by bullet daily. Listen to this, youth man.
This kid is Mozart level. It's like looking at the face of God. It really is. The ripple effects for the next 70 or 80 years are incalculable. It's not just for him. It's for all the people he's going to touch.
Did you ever imagine you'd have this giant piano in your living room?
Never, no. There is no way we can afford that. Never, ever.
Yes.
Yes.
I had some fancy clothes and shoes. I like to look spiffy.
And what happens to our talent? We have talent like that in all kind of spheres. Can PNM find it? Can they invest in it? No, they cut everything. They invest in Noel Garcia getting money to build everything. One man. And all of you PNM people, how could you be on a team? And they just say give one man the ball. So all you're playing football and the coach come in and say, listen, all of you out there, you working hard, you looking fit, you went in the gym, you with the team 30 years, very good. Forget all you. Give Noel Garcia the ball. Goalkeeper, when you have it, give Noel Garcia the ball. You, when you have it right, give Noel Garcia the ball. If they have any shot to take, let Noel Garcia shoot it. If it's a goal to score, let go Noel Garcia kick it. If it's a corner to take, let Noel Garcia take the corner and put the ball in the goal. That's what y'all PNM say. And y'all find that's okay. This man building everything under the sun. And all you're talking about, great is the PNM. This man now talking, let me move forward to where I reach with he, yes? Oh Lord, let me go forward. I came in a little closer. Anyway, I'll come back to he, because he's a hot topic, right? We talking about CFTDI. Y'all don't even know what that is, you know. It's the Caribbean Fisheries Training and Development Institute. They had a man there under the former Minister of Agriculture, Clarence Rambarat. A man called Paul Gabadon. He's the chairman of the board. They said they needed a principal, which is like the CEO. He said he looking for it and he ain't find nobody good. So he make himself the principal and draws in his stipend as the chairman and being the principal. And the chairman paying the principal and the principal paying the chairman. And the principal and the chairman taking all the decision. Die PNM for all you. You know that situation still there? all the talk Kazim Hussein gave me about, Kazim, I try to give you time to let you settle, to see what you're doing. You're failing, Kazim. You're looking like Clarence. I'm going to start to deal with you. We're talking about the RIC. People talking about what about the poor man? Right? But before we go to that, UTT, more of your money, more PNM decisions. PNM is against merit. So they had to fire Jawala Rambaran because they want to put their own Alvin Hilaire, Rowley friend and neighbor in Innis Gate in Tobago. They want to control everything. So they fire Fazal Ali from UTT. And now you, the taxpayers, have to pay 1.3 million for the dismissed official because he was dismissed wrongfully. Actually, let me read some of the judgment that the judge said about this matter, PNM firing this man and lost 1.3 million of your dollars that they say they had no money to pay Pan in school or Soca Monarch, but they had to, the amount of judgment them lost could be in a amount of about 40 million. You have any little, it's like clips from a newspaper, like, no, you don't have it. But anyway, some of the most scathing condemnation of the Board of Governors. And you know who is the chairman of the Board of Governors of UTT? Clement Imbe, related to Colm Imbe. I think it's his uncle or something. Clement Imbe, the judge said, it's some of the most disgusting, discriminatory, anti-democratic, unprofessional decisions. Look, let's see this one. I wish we will get it on the next show. I'll read it for you. We were supposed to have it there. But Professor Clement A.C. Imbe, right, this man, PNM, head of the Board of Governors of UTT, the judge was so scathing in his analysis of the behavior of this man and his board. And them still there, Them may resign. PNM don't resign. They're just incompetent and stick. Them just stay. With the RIC, what about the poor man? Tobagonians condemned. They thought it was only UNC and the opposition saying that this is the wrong time, the rates, the RIC implementing government policy after government mismanagement, government appointed boards mismanaging and so on. Even in Tobago, they say it is madness. What about the poor man? It had no UNC in Tobago. But the energy chamber chairman now, I tell already the energy chamber is PNM party group number 3. Inefficient use of electricity carries a huge opportunity cost. That is the same philosophy that Rowley is pushing down our throats, saying that we have the cheapest rates in the Caribbean. And because we have the cheapest rates, we, the people, we misuse and abuse electricity. Therefore, we don't deserve to have a subsidy. We must be punished in order to change our behavior. That is what Rowley says. That's what this energy chamber chairman is saying. That's what the RIC is telling you. What say you? But every time you go in and you pass by government plaza or ministries or lights on all over the place, like they don't have a switch to turn off. When you look at the government not paying NGC for TNTech $7 billion and then telling you, hey, we did good. We ain't paying nobody. But look, it is so bad. But you're still owing. They just kick the can down the road and then they come to tell you, well, oh good. Look, boy. TNTech owing NGC, which is PNM owing PNM $7 billion. So you have to pay more. They didn't even pay for their ministries. $1.2 billion is from government ministries not paying for the electricity bill. And then Rowley says now, let the RIC do its work. Let's listen to Keith Christopher Rowley. Rowley added that the cabinet does not sit down and decide what to charge for water or for electricity. To prevent the cabinet from doing that, there's a law under which the Regulated Industries Commission will exist and will use all the information, all the facts, that these independent people will make a judgment as to what is a reasonable price that you should be asked to pay at this time for electricity. Well, to me, that sounds exactly like what Mr. Glenn Kahn told me, that they decided to try to find a reasonable increase. That is exactly what Miss Dawn Callender said in the RIC consultations that were forced upon the country by Barry Padarat because they wanted to just go in secret. Isn't this sound like they're regurgitating Rowley's words? Oh, they're appointed by Rowley because they say they're appointed by the president, but it's the cabinet that sends the names and the president just have to rubber stamp. This is not one of the commissions where the president could choose, like the independent senators and so on. But the president chose some good ones, because 9 out of 9 read a resume like, who is this boy who used to play football for England? Who was? I remember a Brazilian player in 1982 who played instead of this young boy who got injured in 1982. Careca was supposed to play. He get injured and Brazilians find a man, take him out of jail. He had cuffed down a referee or something. Serginho, the worst player to ever play in a Brazil yellow. And Brazil in 1982 play with 10 men. Serginho unscore goal from in the goal, kick it back outside. Right? It's like you read Serginho resume against Haaland right now, or against Baggio, or against Messi, or against Ronaldo. And all 9 independent senators say Serginho better than Ronaldo, Serginho better than Messi, Serginho better than Careca, Serginho better than Romario. How is that possible? So Rowley is feigning independence now. Oh no, it's not the government raising your tea and take bill. No, the RIC just regurgitating everything in but say, Minister Man say, Rowley say, the consultations are fast, but no, it's not us. They're independent. Right. Ruptured line leaves 75,000 residents without water in Point 14. Sorry, in East Trinidad, without pipe-borne water. Right? From such as Five Rivers, Trim City, Maloney, all them fed up. And then in Point 14, the minister man and them plug in hole in pipe with wood. The minister man gets wood in Point 14. Me know where else he get wood, but in Point 14, a man do a video from down in Point 14, they take a piece of wood and pong it in an iron pipe, you know. That one minister man, this one, who didn't know that leaks break pressure. And when they leaks, you can't pump the water up the hill, this clown. But here now, Keith Rowley didn't tell you, Archie. Keith Rowley didn't say he don't play no flood politics. He not on no photo up to go and help people in no flood to take a picture. Then Keith Rowley, then what you doing here? Run it. What you doing there, Keith Rowley? You paving road? Huh? You putting the pitron? You driving the steamroller? What's that? A photo up to show what? You're paving the road out of one road, out of your whole constituency. You're paving the Bourgeois road that touching Goodwood Park, Mount Coco Road, Westmoreland, Goodwood Gardens, rich people area. If you only turn left into La Puerta, you could die and get buried in a pothole and never come out. But Keith Rowley going to take photo up with Kusal to pave road and pretending what? You're watching the size of the drain to make sure how much inches of asphalt they put in. But you don't do a photo up to help people who flooding. You disgusting, nasty liar, boy. And all you vote for that man. The man don't care about all you who flood. He had no time for it. He had golf club to play, but he come and say, He not into no photo op to help people who's suffering and flooding. Y'all vote for that, it's okay, that's your choice. Your democratic right is to vote for that disgusting, lying human being. Dozens fail to file assets integrity in public life form. The PNM government under Rowley, the liar from Emailgate, the man who get vexed with Patrick Manning and called a hard because the wrong person get a contract. Keith Christopher Rowley, who was the Minister of Housing, who brought the most corrupt housing contract, so corrupt that he had to withdraw it himself after he bring it. Keith Christopher Rowley, the man who built Greenvale and Las Alturas while he was Minister of Housing, and over 1.8 billion in projects failed because they didn't get the requisite approvals and he broke the law to build it. Keith Christopher Rowley and his government met procurement legislation passed by Kamala Persad-Bissessar, waiting to protect your money. They left it there. They then came into Parliament and the Senate to weaken it and gut it because they find the money was too safe. They still have not proclaimed that. The procurement regulator work finished. He get 5 years, 60 months of salary plus gratuity without an act being proclaimed by the PNM. So they legalized thieving. And then this group that legalized thieving many of the ministers have not filled out the Integrity in Public Life Act forms. People like Donna Cox, who had to give back Django outfit. Stuart Smallpin Young, in the office of the Prime Minister, different portfolios. Mr. Super Minister has not filled out his Integrity in Public Life Act forms for 2021. We in 2023. Nyan Gadsby Dolly, a deputy essential to Rowley. Penelope Beckles, Marvin Gonzalez, the minister man. Who is Stephen McClashy? Brian Manning, who making picture. Simon the Nosebreak, well, he can't fill it out, he ain't too bright. Alison West, Paula Gopi School, Randall Puss in Boots Mitchell, and Hasselbackers. What happened to you, Hasselbackers? And they call out they say some UNC. Opposition didn't fill it out too. Opposition is not control 1 cent. So when you have to say when opposition was in government, 2010 to 2015, say who didn't fill out on time and so on. You call it Munilan. Munilan fill out 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, right through. The key point about Integrity in Public Life Act is when you have control of the treasury, when you have control of the government money, the taxpayers' money, that's when it's absolutely critical to fill out on time. Them legalize thieving with procurement and they can't even fill out the Integrity in Public Life Act form, but them is a good team. That is a good team. And just after that, Colman come in Parliament and says, with all his ministers who didn't declare their assets and didn't fill out their forms, they get printed in the papers. FIU flags 1.9 billion in suspicious transactions. Any of them involve any of these ministers from the PNM who did not declare their assets, like Stuart Young, Dr. Nyan Gadsby Dolly, Penelope Beckles, Marvin Gonzalez, Brian Manning, Simon the Nosebreaker, Randall Mitchell, any of them? What about Foster Cummins? He filled out the forms. But what about Foster Cummins and Venture Credit Union in this 1.9 billion suspicious transactions? Did it include the 1.8 million in Foster account from Venture Credit Union that come from MTS and the 4.4 million from MTS to Venture Credit Union, even though Venture had no work done at MTS, and then somehow Venture put it into Foster private account? Any of that in it? Well, we want to find out. Then Imbot come to say 4 new scanners for customs and excise. Let me read this so you know. This is Coleman Bear, the Minister of Finance for Trinidad and Tobago for the last 7 years, going on 8 years, right? Remember that. Saying TNT sits on a drug trafficking corridor. Finance Minister Coleman Bear has identified several measures geared at improving the security of the nation's borders. Imbot announced that the Customs and Excise Division CED intends to acquire 4 mobile scanners for its fleet. Now 7 years them in government. We are not a drug transshipment point yesterday. We don't know, the borders not open yesterday. When Kamala Prasad Bisesa in 2020 spoke about an iron dome, a dome, security dome around Trinidad and Tobago, through the air, on the ground, through naval assets, radar, police, army, and so on, Rowley heaped scorn, and the papers laughed. Dome builders, dome sweepers. Now they're talking 7 years in. They now intend to buy scanners when every day people getting killed by illegal firearms. And on top of that, the illegal firearms seem to be shooting out Trinidad and Tobago police service ammunition and Trinidad and Tobago army ammunition. Somehow, he said the drug trafficking corridor links drug producing regions in Central and South America with the large drug consuming markets in North America. You know a lot, boy, but you now find out this. So if you didn't know this back in 2015 September, so you all didn't have anything to do, say, now know this, call? You didn't know this when you was a minister back in 1991 to 95. You didn't know it when you was a minister of government, works and transfer, I think from 2001, 1818 into 2002 to 2007. You didn't know that? You didn't know when you returned the government 2007 to 2010. You didn't know that? You now know it. Of course, but you're real good, boy. You are the best. It's so bright. You're the best team. I mean, how could the UNC ever beat such a team? Such a brilliant, amazing. He continued, this traffic, he added, has generated high levels of violence and gang-related crimes in the country. As we mobilize to counter these nefarious activities, it is imperative that the division upgrade its fleet of mobile scanners to provide enhanced, non-intrusive inspection. Really? What about the 2 mobile scanners that the police had that a Gary left there that have flat tire? All you buy no tire for it to show when, man, all the murders we seen, men driving wrong. Look at student, a young boy who went to learn a trade, a mechanic's trade, dead in St. Augustine because man was shooting a man and he come to run outside to see if his grandmother all right. And they killed the 16-year-old. Them guns legal? Them are FUL? Or them pass through where you governing 7 years, call me, but government to buy new port scanners, eh? But leave him, but they know. Crude slides to US $86.86. For the budget was read in end of September day. And since that budget was read, the price of crude has averaged $84 to $91 per barrel. You know, call me, but base your budget, your Trinidad and Tobago budget on $92.50 per barrel. So for the last 4 months, call me, but running a deficit because he budget at a too high a price, and all he ain't saying nothing. And per MMBTU, it down to $3.29 US per MMBTU. He budget somewhere up, I forget, above that at $4 or $5 per MMBTU. But they go come and do media review and do some machination, but they don't pay attention to that because elections not really about intelligence and fiscal responsibility and so on, and democratic separation of powers and philosophy and implementation and cabinet notes and serve the people. That election's not about that. It's just about who black and who's Indian, not so? Look your boy Garcia, bring Noel Garcia, boy. Noel Garcia say, Sando waterfront car park ready by June. What? And then he say, Skinner Park is ready. They're going on host Calypso Fiesta. The PNM party group down there. Calypso dead. Nobody here going to tent. Tents closed down. Casca get paid because PNM killed Calypso. And he boasting about Skinner Park finish. Right? But let me ask all your PNM, really and truly, because look, Skinner Park opens February 4th for Calypso Fiesta. Right? How all your PNM feeling? This clown, this goat, this relative of the president-elect, Kangaloo Garcia, this Noel Garcia, Rowley good friend of Las Alturas fame, Rowley good friend of Ministry of Housing fame, Edinburgh Towers fame, down in Harmony Hall, all of that. He in charge of airport in Tobago. There only no PNM in Tobago who could monitor. Nobody with an engineering degree, architecture, managerial, nobody with tendering, finance, qualification. This one man, all you're bowling great is the PNM. All you just go and play, all you sit down in red jersey and clap. I'm asking you all seriously. All you don't find it disrespectful that every dollar that Rowley had to spend, this Clong had to spend it. So the PNM don't have qualified people to take different positions. So this man had to build airport, hospital, health center, community center, fire station, police station, every house in Trinidad and Tobago, Red House, President's House, all of them fancy meal fleur, fantasy 7, magnificent 7 building, Prime Minister residence in Tobago, all the sports stadium, all the refurbishment and renovation of the sports stadium, and sundry other things, including Sando waterfront car park. All your PNM don't find that could have been shared up, that you could have about 20 people doing that job, and maybe it would have even been done more efficiently. What's the reason that this one man, Rowley, good trusted soldier, had to spend all that money? Please explain to me in a PNM. Oh Lord, I nearly get frightened when I read this one. A lady say newspapers as a resource in the classroom. You could move ugly man, then you go mess up the camera. Newspapers as a resource in the classroom, says Julie Morton. In my sleepless hours between 3:13 a.m. and 4:30, I was thinking about Headspace, but she went and she read something. Anne Lacan writes a weekly article for Newsday and so on. And then the person surmises, so why are newspapers not more widely used in the classroom? Newspapers can offset the dire dearth of reading. Newspapers, what a valuable cross-section of information available every day. Civics, politics. Let me stop there. No, Miss Morton. No. Don't put this thing, don't put Newsday, Guardian, Express into we children head involving civics and politics. Food and entertainment, okay. Bias, PNM, disgusting, falsehoods, lies and propaganda. I've given you all thousands of examples, but Miss Morton, let me just give you the most recent example. Front page of the Express and Guardian. Kamala out! Oh, Kamala must get out! People want Kamala to go! Kamala must go! Headline, front page! On some ridiculous nonsense that the newspapers took out from social media and got it totally wrong. Did not research, did not investigate, did not check a source, did not call Fuad Khan, did not call Ramona Ramdial for the truth of what the motion had and which one was the correct motion. They made a total mess of it and printed a total falsehood on the front page. And the Express is the #1 newspaper in Trinidad and Tobago at peak. 89,000 papers per day, plus the Guardian, who perennially was at 17,000, now they down to about 10,000. And look, lie, falsehood, they're wrong. So Miss Morton, what do you think? If you tell a lie in a certain way, you have to apologize in the same way? If you tell a lie on TV and the TV show has 100,000 viewers, can you go quietly in your bathroom and say, I'm sorry? Or do you have to go on the TV show with the 100,000 viewers and correctly record? What's the proper thing to do? Well, look what the Express did. Look at their apology. Express yesterday reported that former UNC MPs Fuad Khan and Ramona Ramdial had filed a motion to oust opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar. A petition to take a special motion to the executive of the UNC to have Persad-Bissessar removed is in fact being circulated by Donny Samlal. The error is regretted. Now they conflagrated the issues also. Nobody cared about no petition, and they had no petition, and nobody know who the hell is Donny Samlal. Okay? The front page was about Kamala out, Fuad can't say so. Ramona Ramdial seconded. That's what they said. That's their apology. That's their retraction. Do you find that's right? Front page versus this? And you want our children to read this nonsense about politics? No. You're mistaken a real democracy with real journalists who are not bought out and sold out, who do not share the bed of Rowley as editors and lead political reporters, or share the bed of Stuart Smallpin-Young while writing political investigative reports against the UNC and creating a perception in the mind that no matter how good Kamala Persad performed, that she ain't good, she must go. Look, the entire UNC had to respond because the Express front page, Guardian front page, and all MPs, all senators, all councillors, all chairmen of corporation, all national executive, women's arm, youth arm, everybody had to come out and say, what nonsense! From the lies put on the front page by the Express and the Guardian. Stuart Smallpin-Young says, Kevin Ramnarine is clueless about Dragon deal. Let me read from Stuart Smallpin-Young. Kevin Ramnarine is a failed Minister of Energy, says Stuart Young. Okay, let's analyze Mr. Young's statement. Kevin Ramnarine was Minister of Energy. NGC made average profits of 2.8 billion US per year. Petrotrin was bringing in 2.1 billion US per year into the economy. 10,894 Petrotrin workers were employed and not fired. Bid wrongs under Kevin Ramnarine came up and were taken up by international companies and brought forth an increase in the production of gas in 2017-2018, which saved the PNM from total absolute collapse. Kevin Ramnarine had the NGC gas price allowing what ArcelorMittal was still operating. Point Lisas was operating at 73% under Kevin Ramnarine. Oil production in Trinidad and Tobago land especially went up to 95,000 barrels, whereas under you, Stuart Smallpin-Young, it went down to 35,000 barrels per day. Kevin Ramnarine performed well in the energy sector. Now let's talk about you, Stuart Smallpin. Before you became Minister of Energy, you were the super minister that Rowley carries everywhere in his suitcase. And Rowley boasted that you were the main man in negotiating 2017 Houston gas price. Now after your negotiations, Stuart Smallpin-Young, 11 companies left and never came back and still are out of Point Lisas. Point Lisas is operating at 27%, whereas under Kevin Ramnarine it was up at 72-74%. NGC made a loss under you for the first time in history. NGC made a loss under you and the PNM. Well, you weren't Minister of Energy there, but you were in the office of the Prime Minister. You shut down Petrotrin. And you have the audacity to call Kevin Ramnarine a failed Minister of Energy? So what are you? If he is failed, we have to find new terminology to describe you. Really and truly. He said he has no clue about Dragon and its development, and certainly is not an authority on how it will be produced. It is premature at this time to state timelines. But if it's premature to state timelines, you don't even know the timelines. So you don't know the timeline, but you saying Kevin Ramnarine from his internal and external investigations, his knowledge, experience, he extrapolates a timeline that he suggests is the best case scenario. You say it has no timeline. So he notice you. Well, boy, I see my brother, Gerald Ramdeen. Good evening, my brother. Brilliant attorney. Member of the UNC since 2000 and before. Hard worker. Brilliant attorney who's fight for people. Didn't hear from him in a long time because I know he was busy fighting the corrupt, disgusting PNM who tried to fabricate charges on himself and Ram Logan. Keith Rowley and Faris Al-Rawi playing games and signing an indemnity and authorizing it with Vincent Nelson to take Gerald Ramdeen and Anand Ramlogan away from their children, their wives, their family, and so on. So I know my brother was busy. But recently he jumped out on an issue on the drug and gas thing. And he made certain statements. So listen to me, my people in UNC. We are not PNM. An intelligent man, a hardworking man is entitled to his opinion, and we in the UNC, we are able to debate, present information, and change minds. In the PNM, once you make a statement and you present facts, the only thing is, you're ugly, you're this, you're cut, you're a thief, you're nasty, you're racist, you're black, you do. That's PNM. In the UNC, we debate issues. So my brother Gerald Ramdeen said that the drug and gas, what has taken place with the PNM is excellent for Trinidad and Tobago. And he attacked the UNC for saying, well, first and foremost, Mr. Ramdeen, the UNC is not against and has not said anything bad about the opportunity or the potential for increased gas. The UNC hopes that we could get increased gas out of Rowley, K-Pax and all. So that was never said. We have people like David Lee, Wade Mark, myself, Rushton Parry, who shadow the energy sector and so on. Kevin Ramnarine also would put in a key information. I call him for expert analysis and information and so on. So it was never said by the UNC that anything about drug and gas is bad. It's good. What the UNC said, let me read what Mr. Ramdeen said. United National Congress is, well, presently correct, forget it. The former UNC senator says the UNC in its present form isn't an actual, we'll deal with that after. Let me deal with the drug and gas issue, right? He said, this matter has been worked on by various governments and this administration has delivered on it. Well, so they haven't delivered anything yet. As Stuart Young said, there are no timelines. So they have the opportunity to deliver. And many, Patrick Manning and them was working on it. Kevin Ramnarine was working on it. So very good. But nothing has been delivered yet. So there's no real hoorah. Yes, it's good that the US has allowed Trinidad and Tobago to go forward and try to negotiate and move it forward. But nothing has been delivered yet. So I disagree with your excitement. He said if things, you see, because then you contradict yourself, Mr. Ramdeen, because you said after you said, way, well done, PNM, you delivered, you then say, if things fall into place, the potential for TNT to benefit significantly is there. I agree with that. The potential is there. But as my mother used to say, potential means you have done nothing yet. What will bring the benefits? First of all, great negotiation. But Honorable former Senator Ramdeen, the two men who are in charge of the negotiation now, Keith Rowley and Stuart Smallpin Young, are the very same ones who in 2017 took over the negotiation of the gas price, concluded it, and NGC made a loss and 11 industries shut down in Trinidad and Tobago, and they nearly collapsed the entire energy sector because of their lack of knowledge, their lack of ability, their lack of brain, and their poor negotiation. The upstreamers after Rowley and Smallpin's negotiation, they boasted from Trinidad and Tobago increases in their profit margins of 67%. Now it's a zero-sum game. So if the upstreamers go up 67%, you know who has to go down 67%? Us, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because Rowley and Stuart Young negotiated poorly. So you are saying with the track record that they have, that we must have great faith and hope that they would not shatter the negotiation again? That I have to say that the UNC, we are scared about that. We need to have people in there who are knowledgeable. What did we talk to Jerry Brooks? Why did he resign? Remember this, I actually played the video. I want to remind my honorable colleague that it was Keith Rowley and Stuart Smallpin-Young who concluded the negotiations, and then the gas industry, energy sector collapsed. Run it.
The last time when we were looking at the energy sector, that there was a stalemate with the NGC negotiations, which you continue to look at the contracts and in terms of getting the best value for the country. You took a trip to Houston, you broke that point. At that point, you broke the stalemate that existed. There are about 5 more contracts still outstanding. Will you be involved in these negotiations?
Well, no, I don't expect to be. As I was coming down here, I saw a whole page advertisement in the newspapers by the opposition, which is hell-bent on misleading this country, about me negotiating gas contract. What had happened is that the two parties, NGC negotiates gas contracts for this country, the National Gas Company. And in that company, you have the experts who do it and their advisors. I do not get involved with the actual price of a negotiation, or that's not my job.
As the Prime Minister has said on countless occasions, as I have said on countless occasions, as the Minister of Energy has said on countless occasions prior to today, the Prime Minister did not engage in negotiations of gas prices. He did not engage in those discussions in Houston in 2017.
When I went to Houston 2 or 3 months ago with Minister Young on a mission to meet BP, Shell, EOG, and also Exxon. Exxon is not producing here, but the other 3. BP, our major supplier, Shell, the new big player that bought out BG, and EOG, our second largest gas producer. I went to Houston and concluded the negotiations that had been going on, and we agreed on a gas price across the board.
So those are the gentlemen. So that's what the UNC is worried about, that these people who have been in charge of the energy sector in its darkest times in the history of our Twin Island Republic are now the ones to negotiate forward what potential benefits Trinidad and Tobago can devolve from that potential of the dragon gas. That's what the UNC is saying. So my colleague Gerald Ramdin also said that the UNC does not present itself as a viable option. There was an energy conference, and where was the UNC? Well, my brother, the UNC was heavily present. Our deputy political leader and senator, the Honorable Jerlene John, was there. The member of parliament for Mayaro, Rushton Parry, was there. Mr. Nicholas Kanhaya, energy sector expert, was there representing the UNC, meeting, greeting, discussing, talking, and listening. So I'm not sure if you are aware of that, so I correct the record. And we now have to talk further. My honorable colleague said that the UNC right now, as it is constituted, is not a viable option. Well, I'm not sure what that means, so I need my honorable colleague to come and discuss, because we in meetings, we have NATEX, we have constituency executive coordinators, caucus, we have policy division, UNC, women's group, UTAM, and so on. Meeting tomorrow, we have a congress. So is it that we don't have enough party groups? Well, I agree with you, we need to get more party groups. Is it that the UNC executive, constituency executive are a bit out and not in the full communication with the NATEX? Yes, we could agree we need to pull that in together, and we have Archie and Vishnu Kunkun and others working on this, trying to get the communication out there. I'm not sure what the makeup or the constituent makeup that is not amenable right now. So we need to hear from you, my brother Gerald Ramdin. But you said that you've not been active, you've been inactive, and so I don't, maybe it is, if you're inactive, you will not know about the hard work that is going on the ground, what's going on in each constituency. Or is it that you feel that we need a higher presence in Tobago, well, then Obika needs some help there. Should we go and fight the 2 seats in Tobago? All of these things need to be discussed because I would like to know what you think, how you think we are not a viable option. And then on the other side of it, I would really like to show you my brother Gerald Ramdeen, because in 2015, Kamala Prasad Bisesa and her team, now a leader, while they may get most of the blame, correctly so, it's a team. And Vasant Bharat, for example, was in charge and given the ball to win St. Joseph, and he lost. Now, do we blame Kamala for choosing Vasant to try to win St. Joseph, and then he lost? Blame Kamala and then say, well, put Vasant on top of Kamala? I really would like to know the logic, or what's the position. I'm not saying that you are saying that, but I don't know what the constituent element is. And you're saying now that Keith Rowley presents something stronger and better than what we have in the UNC, with all our membership, all of our people, all of our executives, all the structures in place. Keith Rowley, a man that has decimated this country, divided it on race, the worst prime minister in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, a man who brought legislation to legalize thieving, the man who said Bridgman's money was crooked, yet the Bridgman's Kobo Star has reached about 220 million. Keith Christopher Rowley, that has blurred the separation of powers, interfered in every independent institution. He interfered in the Police Service Commission and has us without a commissioner of police, the highest murder rates out, the worst roads, infrastructure, degradation, no water. How, Keith Rowley, how is he so viable? Based on what? I would love to understand. The only way we can understand my brother Gerald Ramdeen is for us to talk and discuss. So if you are getting active, we need to hear from you. Come and talk, join caucus, come to meetings, come tomorrow, do a paper, give suggestions. That's excellent. But to be inactive and then just talk out, I think you're better than that. I mean, for example, to say that Rowley delivered something in Dragon Gas. No, I on the Joint Select Committee of Energy, and they've not delivered anything. It's good that we asked the easy sanctions. Sanctions didn't exist all the time, you know. They're only a recent vintage, 2016 or so. But to say that they delivered when it is now to be negotiated is like somebody saying, well, boy, Gerald Ramdeen is a brilliant attorney, which he is. Let me go and pay him his retainer. How much retainer, sir? However much. And I pay the retainer. Have you delivered justice for me when I pay you my retainer? No. You then have to get your team together, a junior. You may need a senior counsel like Anand Ramlogan. You may need junior researchers. You have to take my statement case. I have to provide you documentation. You have to research, tell me what more information you get. Go and make pleadings, go and move motions, go through the court process. And then after 4, 5, 6, 7 years, bam, I get justice because my lawyer is brilliant. But just paying the retainer don't mean that anything has been delivered. So I am not sure what you're talking about, Rowley, and them delivering. They have the opportunity to negotiate for gas that could bring benefits to Trinidad and Tobago. Furthermore, Keith Rowley, in the last 7 years, he spent about $410 billion. Please tell me the benefits on the ground. So come on, gone. Pan in school, dead. Hospitals in a mess. People can't get drugs, oncology drugs, like when Fuad Khan was there. The health sector in a mess. COVID-19, 4,329 people dead. Schools in a mess. School violence. Lowest SEA performance. Lowest CAPE and CSEC performance. No scholarships, bursaries. The hiding results of the top SEA. Potholes, bridge mashup, flooding, high food price inflation, no jobs, immigration, illegal migrants all over the place. I would like to know, in the $410 billion, how Rowley and them spend it. How did we benefit? Where the grants? Where the Children Life Fund? Where the school feeding? Where the gate? Where the sports funding? Where the culture funding? Nowhere compared to Kamala and the UNC. So if they get a windfall, if they negotiate and they're there, how can you extrapolate that the people are going to benefit when the track record shows that Rowley is a complete failure? So I need you to convince me of this. You know, let me just don't talk and make statements. You are a lawyer. You are brilliant. You come with facts. You make arguments impeccably. So to my citizens who love UNC and so don't cuss up Gerald just so. Don't go and go. That's a PNM way. We don't do that. Let us just debate. All hands on deck, all brains. The amount of problem in Trinidad and Tobago, all you feel one brain could solve it? After PNM mash up this country? I think not. You know, what is the final point I would say? 2 more points. Mr. Ramdeen says that the UNC now can't win or is not viable. But let me remind you that Keith Rowley won an election in 2015 on the lies of Emailgate. People believe that nonsense because the media allowed it. The media didn't print Rowley lie. Rowley's a liar, disgusting liar, waste of parliamentary time, nasty, immoral, unethical. They didn't print that. So he went into the election in 2015 on 2 lies, Emailgate and Live Sport. Your boy Anil resigned because they make allegation not against me, but in my ministry that I was in charge of. So I say, all right, I go quiet. And I watch my brothers fight and help. I help on the ground quietly with things and so on. And we lost because the EBC gave PNM an extra hour and didn't tell the UNC. Remember that? So Kamala only lost with her team by the EBC cheating, Emailgate lies and Live Sport lies. So what that have to do with Kamala and her team? Number 1. In 2020, Rowley's failure to perform, he then had some benefits and called an election in a COVID when people were scared. He suppressed the vote by some 7%, where on average it was 58%, knowing that PNM, the lower the voter turnout, PNM wins. He also had the niece of a former sitting minister as the head of the EBC, and somehow all the marginals come out at 9,450 thereabouts. They also had the lies. They say we perform bad, but the UNC corrupt. And you know what was the basis of the UNC being corrupt, Mr. Ramdeen? The PNM said, look, Anand Ramlogan and Ramdeen on charges. Do you know people believe that when they went to vote? Do you know that Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the UNC only lost by 2,612 votes in 2 constituencies, while 35,000 citizens were outside because of an exemption policy that only the PNM could allow you in to vote, and Penny Beckers and certain PNM got to come in while other people were left out. And in 2 constituencies, 2 marginals, by 2,612 votes is what Kamla lost by. Do you think that any of the people would have thought that UNC corrupt because the PNM lied? They created and concocted charges against Gerald Ramdeen and Anand Ramlogan and gave the perception out there, aided and abetted by the mass media, that the UNC corrupt because look, we 2 big, intelligent, brilliant honchos, look, we have them. And now we see the truth, that it was all fraudulent, it was all fake, it was all concocted, it was all bribery, it was all inducement, it was all indemnity with a clown called Vincent Nelson. So do you think that that could have weakened Kamala's chances and her team's chance to win, just like the Emailgate lies and the Live Sport lies in 2015? I think so. So what is the solution? The UNC debates needs all brains on deck, all hands on deck. Politics is not an Olympic Games going for a medal. Olympic Games going for a gold medal, all you need is one brilliant, genetically astute, amazing athlete. And you work hard with that athlete, and that one person could go there and top the world and bring glory. Politics is about masses, masses of people. The one who has the greater mass wins. So the UNC having a few splinter people upset for whatever reason and breaking down their mass, does it make the PNM stronger or weaker? So my brother Gerald Ramdeen, I've heard you. I hear your points. I disagree on them on some of their factual basis. The dragon gas, the energy, Rowley's performance in energy with Stuart Young and so on, with Oliveri, shutting down Petrotrin, fake oil disaster and so on. And I say to you, since you're getting active, we'll get active. Because the UNC needs all hands on deck. All hands. We have a democratic party. If somebody want to lead, let them go through the process and lead. Nobody here tell them no. But where are we going? We just had an internal election. Kamala didn't win by she win by a huge amount. So while you are entitled to your opinion, in politics, the mass opinion is more important. So you can't be in politics and say, I can't get my way, I gone with my cricket bat and ball. That's not how it works. That's how it works in the legal profession. If you're a lawyer, you could fight your case by yourself. You don't need no help, you don't need no advice, you don't need no mass. All you need is your brain. Olympic coaching, I only need George Bovell, I don't need no 300 summers. But in politics, you need 400,000 to win 26 seats. So come, my brother, help us win 400,000. You are a brilliant senator, brilliant debater, brilliant attorney. So I'm not sure why some of this statement came out that, wasn't based on fact. And finally, this part bothers me. Because the most important thing I do on this earth is be a father to my 3 children. 2 big and 1 smallie. That's the most important job. And if somebody like Keith Christopher stinking nasty Rowley, or Faris nasty tight pants wearing disgusting, dishonest, fake fool try to concoct charges on me to take me away from my children when I am totally innocent and did nothing wrong, I could never bring myself to utter the words, Rowley did a good job, or Al-Rawi did a good job. They are disgusting, nasty individuals who try to take you and Anand falsely with bribery, breaking the law, breaching the Constitution, misbehaving in public office, away from your children. So that part, you gotta call me separately and explain that part, father to father. But I hope I see you tomorrow in Couva. You are a UNC member. You are well loved, well respected, brilliant. And all of us don't have to agree all the time. You don't have to like my bald head. You don't have to like that I talk loud. But we have to listen, respect each other and debate. And to my UNC people, you don't attack people like that just because they disagree. We debate. We have brain. We intelligent. You don't run on emotion. And the Guardian tried to join. They say a major boost for TNT, you see? All of this major, what boost? There's potential. If your child has the potential to be a national scholarship winner, she's 10 or 11. And she will take exams at 16 or 17. You have to put things in place. Discipline, correct teaching, extra lessons, homework, parenting, quality time, making sure she there, stay away, make sacrifices, not too much party, no boyfriend, no phone. You have to do those things until such time she takes her exams, and when she gets the results, you have delivered her talent to fruition. You can't tell me, well, look, we have the opportunity. Let me go and negotiate. We have delivered. We've delivered nothing. I overtalked today, What's the time, Archie? 8:52, 8 minutes. Let me fast forward. Because Rowley say, it's a difficult, bumpy road ahead. Call me but say, hey boy, things going good. Think 2022, we had growth, we better. Then Rowley say, January 1st. Rowley say, boy, great things happening. Then Rowley say, on the 67th anniversary of the PNM, Lord, 67th anniversary of pain and torture, corruption and division. Rowley say, bumpy days ahead. And then 2 days later, he say, dragon gas, fantastic, we looking good. Okay. So on the 67th anniversary, was it that he was not aware that the USA was going to allow negotiations to begin with the licensing agreement? Or was it that he knew about that, But he want to prepare all you to wean yourself off, because the money that is coming in, if he in charge, is not for you. It's for Noel Garcia. It's for Stuart Young Smallpin, Angus Smallpin Young, Richard Smallpin Young, Faris Al-Rawi Rent, the recusal twins in the cabinet, over 500 recusals. So he want to prepare you all to suffer more. When the money come, he go in and build things like an administrative complex for the health sector. Hospital in a mess, all they're dead in the condolences to Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the Gajida Singh family on the passing and pastor. In the hospital, he get heart attack and dead. Normally, you say if you get a heart attack in hospital is the best place to get a heart attack. Everything in a mess. So is it that Rowley is preparing you to wean yourself off more fuel subsidy? Because what they do is take your money. You are shareholders in the gas and oil. They take it from you to give themselves. That's what the PNM does. But Kamla Prasad Bisesa says, serve the people. Take the resources and give children life fund, save children life. Differently able grant, autistic grant, sport, get them all across, help them, uniforms, equipment, football boots, food. Get them education. Fazal Karim with GATE, get them. TechVoc, build MIC centers, NESC centers. Tim Gopi Singh, build schools. Give the people education. Jack Warner, Suraj Ramachan, build roads. Suraj, cool yourself now. Why are you so venomous on your fake claims? Behave yourself. You're UNC, you perform well. When URP move under you, Suraj Ramachan, when we in government, and URP was in a mess, and poor people were suffering, you, Suraj Ramachan, you did an excellent job in getting projects, and not only that, quality work in URP. So stop the fake profile stupidness. You are elder soldier. Stop the sour grapes. I's a Douglas, so I could say it. What's wrong with me Indian people? Why we just get on so? And to my brother Gerald Ramdin, when I out, I resign. I lost a work I love. Me, I do nothing wrong. But I say, right, the boss want to have this higher level of politics. I come out and I stay quiet. I support. When you went in the Senate, me and Anil and nobody, I done, I out. They tried to bury me with lie after lie. I applauded you in the Senate and going good. Gerald Ramdin, you're brilliant. Okay, you come out, you resign. The team working hard and go on. You get cleared and we say, yes, we boys there. Well, jump back in if you're coming back in. Nobody have pelt out Gerald Ramdin. You're a hard-working, brilliant, intelligent lawyer. So where's that? I find you didn't do your research in this topic, so your boy had to debate here. Yeah, I'm sure, but I hope that you change because we mature. If you made statements without really knowing, I give you a little bit more information, and anytime you could call me, anytime they want to know what's going on and what's happening. So all the older heads, this is what the PNM does from time immemorial. Keep their little cult together, no matter what. Where Minister Oliveri, who did the right thing to get the audit into fake oil, she get fired. Where she a bad talk Rowley. Where Dylan? Where all of them who get fired? Where the ones who try to do good and get bust throat? The PNM cult, let's keep them. We don't want that kind of stupidity because we want discussion and debate. But this kind of thing about you ain't get a senator thing, this one, Vasant who get licks, I never see a man like licks. So Kamla BT 340, I still fighting up, bad talking, but want to remain. Well, go in your PNM, Vasant is alright, nobody is fighting it up. And I hear you say, I ain't confident. Vasant, give me a chance, boy. Give me a chance. Let me leave you, So to all, don't fall into the PNM trap. PNM wins elections because the iceberg of the opposition always gets chipped off at different points. Oh Lord, I go leave this one. I go leave this. That is Bacchanal, not for tonight. I go leave this, not tonight, to borrow Jack Warner term. Not, oh Lord, I go finish off with this one here. Kangaloo say, give me a chance. Kangaloo, the mere fact that you have to say, give me a chance, means that you have failed. You have totally and completely failed already. Because 3/4 of the country don't want you. and the mere fact that you are trying to make the argument that you will be non-partisan and that you resign from the PNM. I can't find an article saying back in 2015, September, October, November, anywhere there, that you say you resign from the PNM. You did it in secret, but you're a PNM senator to be the president of the Senate. Really? Well, show us the article now. Show us. Don't show me no letter that you write. You know, all the PNM could backdate thing. But the mere fact that you feel that you have to ask people to give you a chance means that you understand the job should be independent as possible, and that you fail the test of apparent bias and actual bias. So to ball, give me a chance. You know, you have to give all of we a chance. Kangaloo said, I was never partisan. Actually, I don't know if you have a little video of me in the Senate. Just me, eh? You don't have to show about Wade Mark, Lyda, Naked, Jolene John, Gianti. You don't have to show all of that, you know. Just show some clips of Kangaloo, who is non-partisan, allowing the opposition. Them have 15 plus she, 16 senators, 9 independent PNM senators, and all the UNC have is 6. And she had to use her power to stop me from talking. Actually, have it. Run a little piece now. Run it.
Roberts, that question does not arise. Any further questions? That too does not arise. Any further questions? Senator Roberts? Senator Roberts, please. You just made a whole speech. Fascinating as this is, I really would like you to get to the point, please. No, but get it a little faster.
Thing for you to make you happy. The point of the
Senator
bill.
Roberts, it's not about my happiness. It's about my ensuring the smooth running and functioning of this Senate. Senator Roberts, you're going down a path that I do not think is proper. You have a few seconds. I would ask you to wrap up your contribution.
Madam President, I don't know what part you thought I was going down, because I am not sure what part. And I'm saying today that we are here, Trinidad and Tobago.
Has expired, Minister of Finance. Senator Roberts, number one, you just made another speech. Number two, that question, if it was a question, is not allowed. Can we move on to the next question? Senator Mark. Senator Mark, I won't allow that question. Next question. Senator Roberts. And I would also ask you, please, to just lower your voice a little bit. The acoustics in here are quite good, and there's no need to be shouting. Senator Roberts, if that is the case, then try to whisper.
I will certainly try to make you happy. I notice that I've been interrupted quite a bit.
Senator Roberts, listen. And there is no conversation going on between you and me. Okay? I make the rulings, you abide by it.
Very much, Madam President.
Day 2.
He said, what we have with Venezuela, what the UNC have against Venezuela? No sentimos nada mal de la gente venezolana.
Senator Roberts, please. Can we, if you look at the standing order, you'll see that we're supposed to be speaking in English. Senator Roberts, please refine your language.
Science is the intellectual and practical.
Senator Roberts, two things. I'd ask you to be relevant to the motion, and I'd ask you, please, you started off with one tone and you're steadily rising. I will ask you, please, to lower your voice.
Yes.
Senator Roberts, please.
This is not humor, ma'am.
Please, Senator Roberts.
Let me repeat. Okay.
I am not saying that you're humorous. I'm not saying that.
The World Cup cannot.
Senator Roberts, please.
The science in here does not match the science out there.
I am saying to you, Senator Roberts, that you need to tone it down. Tone it down.
President, I would love to know what standing order, please, is tone it down, because I've read and I have not seen it. Please advise.
Well, no, that's very good for you. If you're reading and you're not seeing it, I am saying to you, and I have said it repeatedly, unless someone wants to question the authority of the presiding officer, I am saying to you, tone it down.
Madam President, I'm not questioning you, I'm asking you what standing order.
You actually
what
are
is it
questioning
standing
me. You actually are questioning me. and I'm going to say to you, continue along this line, and your speaking time will be curtailed today.
I quote
Senator Roberts, please, those offhand remarks, cut it out. Senator Roberts, you are speaking on everything but the motion. This is your last opportunity. Senator Roberts, your contribution is finished. Lead of government business.
During this debate,
Sir, just 1 second. Senator Roberts, I will ask you to apologize right now for the comments I just heard you make. I am not going to repeat what I heard. I am asking you to apologize for what I just heard.
Ma'am, I humbly apologize for saying this is a joke.
Roberts, please leave the chamber for the rest of this sitting. Please leave the chamber.
And President-elect Kangaloo says that impartiality has been her track record, and this will continue to be her guiding principle in her relationship with the government, the opposition, and the people of Trinidad and Tobago. With that, my people, I bid you good night